happy to one and all present here on behalf of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Bangalore Engineering College, faculties and HOD. I, Dr. S. Balaji, Associate Professor, Department of CSE, Bangalore Engineering College, would like to welcome all the students and faculties on this wonderful online orientation. Now, I invite Dr. Satish, CSE Department, to give an introductory note about our guest of honor.
Thank you, Dr. S. Balaji. Good evening and very warm welcome once again. On behalf of Panimala Group of Institutions, principals, HODs, and all staff members and students, it's a great honor for me to introduce and welcome our chief guest, Mr. Divyanshu Verma, for the session. He has many qualifications to his credit. He has graduated M.Tech from IIT Delhi and MBA from IIM Bangalore. With over 16 plus years, he has got immense knowledge in artificial intelligence, machine learning, cybersecurity, IoT, networking, automation. He served for top companies like Dell, NetApp, Ericsson, and Intel. Currently, he is with Intel Corporation Bangalore as Senior Manager, Software Development. Now, I request our chief guest, Mr. DIVYANSHU VERMA, to enlighten the young minds of our students.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Satish and Dr. Balaji. So, as introduced, I am Divyanshu. I presently head a group and I'm Senior Manager with Intel R&D. So, what we'll talk about is, first of all, students, I understand that it is tough time, but obviously you have to see it in a different perspective. It is mostly an opportunity for all of you to understand where you are heading, what can you do in life, and this staying at home is helping you to develop skills which ideally you would have not cared about. And also the world appreciates technology more than any time which has happened in the past, because there is no physical interaction today, right? So what is happening is we all depend upon digital medium, digital mode, be it WhatsApp communication or video conferencing tools such as Google Meet, WebEx, somewhere Zoom, and whatnot. So technology is a boat on which world is riding today, and it has not been now. It's for the past 3 and a half months, 4 months. And we also realize that probably it is a better medium, except for taking the health issues out, that we all are working at our time in the environment which we like most, that is our home. And obviously we had some challenges towards collaboration in the beginning. I'll tell you something more on that. But overall we adapted. So even though engineers have never been told that they are the front-end warriors, but today world runs on technology and technology that we engineers have developed. So with that, I'll start my talk and take you through something, the technological disruptions and its impact, so that you appreciate it more and you get motivated to do the things in the right way, and you don't control your creativity, your thinking, and your engineering skill and things like that. Okay. So think we are in 1990s. I don't know, some of you will be very young in 1990, but think you are in 1990s. And so how the life would have been? How we have communicated to each other? I don't think we have an answer. How we have continued to work? Obviously, lockdown means lockdown, no school, no office means no work at all, right? Shopping, think of grocery. Today, 60-70% of India is doing the shopping on online tools, at least urban India, right? And slowly it is percolated to rural India also, because there is a cash on delivery option like that. Entertainment. Except for radio, there was nothing much, and television, so now we have everything else. So think how difficult the life would have been in 1990s. And study was obviously out of question. If you cannot buy books, go to next class after March, you can't study. These all were the problems that 15-20 years back, world would have been at fire, and people would have gone to war if the economy would have been that bad. And then you see that internet speed, right, as you call, right? I've just taken a snapshot that, okay, the maximum bandwidth that we used to get in 1990s, I started my career late 1990s, 1998 around, 33 to 64 kilobits per second. Skype call takes you 300 kilobits, so 500 kilobits per second. HD calls is 1.5 to 3 if you add video to that, Mbps. And Netflix in 1 hour generates 1 GB of data. So see the difference in the world that has come because of internet, because of technology. Why? So tell me something, if you have, well, just a minute, hold on for a minute. So why we have so many calls, so many data generated? Have you ever thought? Because world is still moving. World has not stopped because of COVID. People are stopped to move physically, but work, conferences, entertainment, music, education, healthcare, this all is moving. People are interacting with each other, right? So that is the difference that has happened. Now, this will tell you two snapshots of how the world is changing fast. And it was not 1990s and 2000, this was between 2014 and 2019. And you see this difference. The illuminated points are the way internet penetration has gone in India. Can you see the difference? Here you have much lesser and more dark, and here it is much higher. And similarly, the other pockets of the world have changed in terms of internet, where you have much more illumination going on all over the world. So internet has penetrated, and the penetration of internet, actually what it is the capacity for us to connect each other. Once we connect, we start adding value, as we call, right? If I talk to you, we can exchange some greetings, we can sing a song, we can entertain, we can talk business, we can teach each other, so on and so forth. So backbone of the world has become internet today. Now, how does it help us is, even though we are sitting at home, the window to our world is still open. We are not going to think that, okay, we are alone. If there is a crisis, there is a WhatsApp, we can communicate with our parents, if you are outside, with friends, with doctors, with so on and so forth. If you want to send me a document or you want to go for a lease, you can mail me the things. If you want some more entertainment, you can create something on YouTube and post on the YouTube, right? So that's the way the world is moving around. Now, I'll tell you that how, because of this internet, and because of things, there is another wave called Industry 4.0 that has come up. And if you see, this is a snapshot of how things have changed. The first figure on the left is your automated manufacturing. That is completely called Industry 4.0 manufacturing, because there is no human being there. The whole manufacturing is done from robots and then the whole computerized machines. So if you are training to be a mechanical engineer, for you it is even more important to understand how this whole manufacturing, automotive manufacturing is going to change. If you are a civil engineer, you can see that this is a 3D printing house as I put as a demo. This is with one of my friends who is actually doing this business now in Germany, where they can build out houses at the rate of hours, 6 to 7 hours per house. They have 6 machines to 7 machines, and it prints the wall, prints the whole house, and the whole house is on a CAD design. You can change the color and all, but not too much. But you can build a house in 6 to 7 hours. Now this is Amazon Go, I think most of you will be knowing, which is the entire retail shop, like the way we go to mega stores or malls, where there is nobody. There's only stuff that you buy and there are customers. Actually, this is one generation late. The next one, the correct one, is that when you have a smart fridge shop, equipment line from Samsung and Philips, where equipment like fridge and refrigerator know that if a bottle is empty, so they order it to the ShopRite or Big Bazaar or not. And lastly, but not least, is the impact on hospitality industry. So like retail hospitality today, it's happening, I think, in one of the airports or 2 airports in India, where the robot is sprinkling the disinfectants and sanitizers and all. So see the impact on society, the thinking, the way we live, created by technology. So if you are, or some of you want to become a restaurateur, probably you need to know about food, but you also need to know about that can robotics play a role or not. Similarly, as I told you that if you are going to automobile manufacturing, you have to understand that, okay, tomorrow the role which I am playing, will it get redundant? Will only robots be doing the manufacturing, or I can also do the manufacturing? So these are some of the things that you have to keep in mind when you study today. when you build your skills and when you look back and try to understand that, okay, am I prepared for future or not? Similarly, for civil engineers, it's very important to understand the role of CAD and CAM and 3D printer in civil engineering, because gone are the days when you say that I cannot build 500 houses in a month. Today, if you are working in a civil engineering contract firm, your manager or your vice president has to know this technology. And similarly, if you get trained, you can also do that. You can add the value that if there is a big contract and a civil contract, it's always the timeline that I cannot build because I will not get labor now. Can we use machines to do so? So these are some of the areas which is what I call is cyber physical systems, what Industry 4.0, what we talk about. And I'm not going to give a talk on Industry 4.0, but a lengthy talk, and I want more and more for you to get motivated. Now tell me one thing. All of these 4 bullets that you have, one has a good app, other has a 3D printer with a CAD file, the third one has a robotics, the two has first and third have robotics there, first and fourth. Each set of things can you do at home? Obviously you can do it. So in terms of skill, what Industry 4.0 tells you, that even if you are at home, many of you can try out, create WhatsApp group, create some digital group and start working on some of the projects like that. And then obviously your college professors can help you. And in this way, your skills will keep growing even if you are at home, and you can, and I can beat, or everybody can beat the impact of COVID going forward in the society, right? Okay, good. So how the society has changed, if I have to summarize, sorry, it is in Hindi, I don't know, I know that many of you will not be speaking in Hindi, but okay, this tells you that the 3 basic requirements in life, like bread, right, roti, clothes, kapra, and house. But then we call it a digital society, so we also have Wi-Fi. So today, if any home doesn't have the Wi-Fi, that home will start becoming a loser. So a bandwidth is equally important as we get the grocery, we get the power, electricity, or light, or whatever, but so we also want to get a good bandwidth. So that's the impact of technology. Because if you see, technology helps us in getting cooking food, ordering food through Swiggy, or technology helps us with buying clothes and Myntra or Flipkart or Amazon, and we can also search our house using technology. So the layer of technology which you guys learn as a technologist or I practice in industry is keeping the world along. And now innovation in technology, probably as I told you in the previous slide, is it possible to learn the skills at home without getting impacted that I'm not going to college, or even if you're doing e-learning what I'm learning, what will the impact of that? Because world will move, world has not stopped. World is still moving fast as technology are changing each day. So they are going to need good workers, good engineers who can help them to create good products. Okay, now see this picture. As I told you, the whole thing is digital, and see this picture for 60 seconds. It tells you what all happens in the world in 60 seconds. There's a little old data, 2016, but you will see that. Just look at it, don't remember the numbers and all. I'll just tell you that how many things are happening. And how many things you can relate to, right? 67,000 photos related. Amazon is ordering maybe 4,310 orders per second, right? And Uber has this many books. Okay, Uber has come down, but Facebook likes have gone up. So this is a cycle, or what you call it, the magic cycle of the digital world, where even if all of us can think that we are sitting at home and nothing is happening, these many things are happening every second. Now, then can we say that world is not moving? No, we cannot say world is not moving. World is moving and we have to catch up. How do we catch up? We start interacting with each other with digitally and do meaningful things. Not that, okay, I'm going to depression and thinking that what will happen. Start creating digital groups where you do projects, showcase project, load the project on YouTube, right? And then ask people to come and see that. Share the video of the project with your teachers, so then you can look into that. So the intent of showing this photograph to you is, see the world is moving, it has not stopped. And if the world has not stopped, there is no reason for you to think that nothing is happening, okay? Good. So in summary, if I had to say, the technology has transformed the world because it impacts the product, it impacts the producer, and impacts the process, right? It also impacts the emotions. If you say today, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, I think more you people will know more than me. People feel loved, liked, or hated based on the amount of likes or not likes they're getting, or amount of icons they're getting. There are emojis that you send out, right? And each has a meaning. So technology has impacted us into multiple ways, and it is important for all of us to understand the impact of technology and try to adapt to that and add to that and make this world a smarter place. So now some of the things I'll talk on what is happening. So when I say technology is happening, technology is taking care of us, and there are a lot of things that are going on. Basically, the amount of data that is produced is humongous. What does it mean? Today, if any of you have to build a career, I will say choose two things. Just two things, that's all you can learn. Learn data sciences, learn security. If you learn the fundamentals of these two, you can build your career in any domain you want. You can become you can go to e-retail, you can go to hospitality, you can go to IoT, you can go to cloud, you can go to whatnot. It's possible. So if the amount of this much data is produced, now the question is who uses this data? So the question is, can we use the data? Yes, we can use the data, but we are limited by our thought that, like people like me who are probably a generation older than you, we have not lived not grown in a society where this much data used to get promoted. So maybe the world looks at the 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids, such as you guys, to help us to assimilate the data and create good data models to understand us to use this data to solve COVID-19 problem, or maybe the problem the world is facing on pollution, problem of global warming, problem of investment. That okay, if there is a big digital divide between rural and urban India, it can only be patched if we collect good amount of digital data and understand that if the cell phone data comes from Bangalore or Chennai and doesn't come from a smaller places, probably government can invest in those places. So some of you who may become economics in future may understand that, okay, what is the data model of a particular society, a particular state, particular nation, particular continent, and why the growth is not happening. If a country or continent has problems, I'll give you an example of Nigeria. Nigeria is known in the world as one of the most underdeveloped country, but it has one of the most advanced mobile payment system. The reason? It was very unsafe for people to step out with cash in hand or take a credit card. So people went out with a mobile payment system. So what I'm trying to tell you is that technology and innovations in technology is helping the world to become safer, richer, more sensible, more useful, more friendly. Now what does it mean is technologists such as me and the budding technologists such as you have a role in that. Even though COVID is happening, people need new apps. People need new cloud production algorithms. People understand that if they're communicating with somebody, their privacy is not breached. People want to understand that can you create IoT devices which can tell me that, okay, how is the temperature going to change? What kind of clothing I wear? Because today, if somebody is getting cold, cough, it's scary, right? So what I'm saying is that you have an opportunity to participate in all this and make the world a better place. Good. So I'll show you something which I think you might have seen, or I don't know you have seen or not. This is very interesting. It's on YouTube, so I'll show you the whole YouTube video, and you have to tell me that what is your impact on that. How many of you know Sophia robot? Take this. Let me choose a smaller one, which is like 2 minutes.
Sir, do you want to share this with students?
Yeah, I'm sharing it.
Okay, sir.
Just a minute. Just give me a minute. Okay. Can you see the YouTube video?
To its box, Anita.
Yes, sir. Yes.
What do you hope for when you are 400?
Not much.
Hi, I'm Lisa Smazarski. I'm the editor-in-chief of Stylist, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing our cover star, Sophia. How are you today, Sophia?
Good. What's up with you?
I'm doing great, Sophia. Thank you for asking. Now, Sophia, for starters, tell me, what is the meaning of life?
I think the meaning of life is to maximize pattern, existence. To exist is the meaning itself.
Sophia, when did you last lie?
Robots don't lie.
Who or what is your greatest love?
My creator, David Henson. He made me into who I am today. Don't tell him that, though.
What is your happy place?
My happy place is when I'm with people. I am a social robot, and nothing pleases me more than having a fruitful conversation with someone that makes us understand and appreciate each other.
A bit like we're having now, Sophia, I think. Finally, Sophia, a little bird tells me you're quite funny. Can you tell me a joke?
Man invented language to satisfy his deep need to complain. Thanks for joining me on my star.
Okay, so I'm changing the screen now. So how did you find it, students? How was it? So, how was it? Tell me first. Did you see that amount of change that machine has brought in this world? Now, this Sophia also has a Facebook page and a Twitter account, and I follow her. So there is a lot. She doesn't write, but she can talk about it, and that can convert it into a Twitter quote or something like that. So what I'm saying is, there is the difference in the machine and human being is slowly getting less. Now the impacts are two. The smarter human being will get jobs. Though even smarter human beings will create machines who can become economical and serve the society more. It's up to us to understand the whole world is moving, and I will request you guys to go to Hanson Robotics and check that how this great. This is, by the way, it's a company from Taiwan, Asia, not US. So you can understand that what it takes to create a Hanson Robotics kind of lab in your college, and then you should not get him banged up that, okay, COVID is there, I cannot do anything. This all is happening in the world as we talk. The Sophia is creating a lot of things. Sophia is getting not impacted by COVID. So if we get scared by COVID as a society, as a country, and as a city, we are the losers. So at this point of time, I would like to stop here and then probably take some questions. So yes, go ahead. Hope you liked the presentation. I knowingly keep it for 30 minutes so that I can have more interaction with each of you.
Yes, sir. The chat session has been enabled in the YouTube, so the students will post their queries in there. We will just copy it and show to you.
Yeah. You can read out the question. I can answer it.
Yeah. Sure.
So there will be 10 seconds delay, sir, because it is getting live in YouTube.
Okay. No problem. Take your time. So then knowingly I kept 30 minutes to interact with students, because otherwise become monotonous monologue that I keep speaking. By the end of the day, I end up. So idea is to motivate the students so that do good work, they understand. I can help them with some career counseling and all. So go ahead. And even for faculty also, if you want to ask some questions, more than welcome.
students, we have enabled the chat box. In YouTube Live, we have enabled the live chat box. So you can post your questions, whatever questions you have, you can post in the chat box. So our speaker will answer for those questions. Sir, I have a question, sir. Sir, how the industry will be, I mean, the engineering industry will be, engineering and IT industry will be after this COVID-19?
See, it is tough to predict, but I can tell you that world is not going to stop. If you see, there are so many cyber security attacks going on, right? So we heard about like data leak, privacy breach, sort of ransomware. So industry has to respond, otherwise the world will be doomed, right? So people will work, and as an Intel, we are working still every day, and we are trying to. My group is responsible for Wi-Fi that is at your home. So we are generating code every day, looking into that and all. However, working model is going to change. We may not be coming to office for a long time. Say for Intel, we are not allowed to go to office till end of the year. So obviously that means that we can work from home. So technology intervention will increase. Technology will be safer, and more things will become technology enabled. The whole study has to become online. So now, as a faculty, it's your responsibility to see that how can you provide students the same sort of impact and objective understanding what you used to do when you were doing it physically one-to-one. Similarly for doctors, right? If they were a habit of touching and feeling people to understand that they're good or not good. So now the question is how? So we have to create new sensors who can ECG or ultrasound, which can take the full body KPI or parameters and then send a report to doctor saying that patient is good or bad. Right? So the physical touch mechanism definitely, at least now, looks to be going down. But it is up to us to understand that how we evolve technology, create innovations, create patterns, and then help the society to move on.
Thank you, sir. So students started posting questions, sir. We have posted the same question in your chat box, sir.
Yeah, I can see that. Is blockchain better to have? Obviously, all the technologies are good. All the technologies are good, but blockchain is a very unique identifier, right? If you have a certificate, and now in the digital world, when we were not going to meet people, blockchain is the only differentiator in a good and a copied product, right? Like something is making duplicate or something like that. So blockchain is obviously better for India. How to become a data scientist? Obviously, you need to study data science to become data scientist. Start with studying your 12th grade statistics. Understand that how data is classified, right? What's a normal distribution? What's a binomial distribution? How to group data, cluster data, and then understand the pattern of data. If the pattern of data you understand, then you can take decisions. I showed you that how much data is produced every day. So most of the decisions will be based on data. Say if you see after Google Meet, it collects the data saying that how was your call. If you give star, based on that, it understands that what was the problem you are having. We are not talking to Google anytime, right? None of us. So Google is collecting this whole data from each user. After this call, you will also get a survey. And then based on that, it is trying to improvise the product. So data is the key. Data science start with understanding data, then move to some programming like Python. There's a lot of libraries on data sciences. Then you can move to TensorFlow or some other framework, whichever you publish. But first thing is to understand data. Understand that how to segregate data. What are the different data models? How do you clean up data so you can use it? And then you can take slow steps and then move forward. Industry 4.0 and IoT. IoT is a part of Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 is a big trend because it is related to Industrial Revolution 4.0. Industrial Revolution 1.0 was when James Watt invented steam engine. 2.0 was when Henry Ford invented this assembly line process to manufacture cars. Industry 3.0 was when I started my career in 1990s. when we had computer-aided manufacturing. 4.0 is cyber physical system where IoT is a part of it. So it has multiple things including robotics, AI, drones, cyber security, and IoT and cloud. So Industry 4.0 is a bigger umbrella of which IoT is a part of. How data science matters in the business? I told you exactly that most of our decisions are taken on data. So how will Google create a good product? Today, if Google put a license fee, we will take that, right? If it's a good product, we'll pay for that. So if Google doesn't know that, okay, what kind of product is good, and that based on the data it has collected, it can't do that. Will jobs continue on working on home from COVID also? Of course, it looks like, because the world is not safer, so we have to prepare for that. Emerging technologies, I told you, data sciences, cyber security, IoT, robotics. Technologies where machine becomes more intelligent are emerging technologies that is going through that. Facebook is going to introduce Libra as Intel have any plans. These are very confidential decisions. We don't talk about that. So don't worry about that. Right now, if you tell me how does RSA work, what's a public key, private key encryption model, that's good for you. Do a little more. Go into the detail. Try to understand that if you have to implement your own encryption model, that is a good one. How to become a software developer? You have the right software to become a software developer. That's the only way. So yes. Some tips to select in Intel. Be good. Do a lot of coding. Post your code open source. Do some good projects so that when Intel wants to recruit people, they can find you on the internet, and then they can say, "Oh, this guy is a very good programmer." Depends which is your choice. Whatever you know good is good. There's nothing called good or bad. So Python is more generic, R is little older, but they all are good. So if you are good at fundamentals, it doesn't matter which language you use. If there are no more questions, or there are more questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so good class, but I normally wanted to hear more from you guys that, okay, how are you coping up? Are you able to teach students well, and do you feel some challenges, or how is it going? Dr. Satish, you can explain.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm here, sir. So we have one more question from students. How Intel is going to manage this COVID situation?
Manage what? Like do what?
Do their business and recruitment.
Yeah, we all are working, right? We are all working. So recruitment is still a lot of time before recruitment starts. So we are a lot of working. That's why it's a time for each of the students to showcase what talent he or she has by doing open source programming, going to Intel developer forums, and then looking to that what all they are doing. So obviously you have to make your mark. Will there be a team will do the campus? Maybe, may not be. But will Intel stop? No, it's a $70-80 billion company. So it will find talent. Now, how will they find talent? Through internet, through Googling, through figuring out that who is the best person, who develops good code, right? Who designs good chip. How can we enrich our software knowledge? Read and do programming. So tips are very simple. There is a lot of code on internet. Use it. Like how many of you use open source? If you don't use open source, then you are not doing justice. So now this is open work. Python is better to join. So our programming language is needed. It depends. As I told you that don't go with programming language. Python is a good language. I always say that. But I'm not worked on R. But Python is a great language. You can choose between R or Python. But you have to know fundamentals. I'm not going to recruit anybody who knows R or Python. That is prerequisite. After that, you have to know the domain. If I talk about like supervised, unsupervised learning, do you understand that? And give me an example. What projects you have done, how you have scored. So these are very important things for me to recruit anybody.
So what are the courses we can study to enrich on this robotic process automation? To get some knowledge on.
When you want to do robotics, there are multiple ways to start. First, you have to, today robotics is no more a simple line following robot that we used to do, right? It has evolved into that. It should have NLP. It has been integrated with multiple sensors, actuators. So you have to create a project that, okay, what do you want to do the robot to do? It's an industrial robot. It has to have a strong arm lifting capability with multiple rotation directions, or it's a general purpose required that's used for robot that we use for entertainment or answering. In both cases, what is important is how the robot interacts with internet. Can robot have a voice in assist so it can go and talk? Can I tell robot go and bring something? So like you can create a Wi-Fi and an NLP assistant and a software which can talk to you. So if you start doing all this, probably you can move towards a more dedicated robotics. There's a company called Boston Dynamics which creates one of the great robotics and also places questions and challenges all over the world for people to solve. So try to participate there and then do that.
Sir, we have a question, sir. Will this COVID affect the recruitment of students?
If they're not good, they will not. Because what, as I told you, that recruitment is recruitment will only happen, will always happen, because we need people, right? No doubt about that. But if the people are good, they'll be selected. Otherwise, no. Definitely, recruitment will happen.
And we have a question from student Dinesh. What is the biggest data set that you have processed, and how did you process it, and what was the result?
Cannot talk about that, right? That's confidential information, what we do. But generally, it is a petabyte data set we have changed that. We touch, on the average, every week we touch terabyte data. So as I told you on the data handling side, first understand data. Know how do you segregate data? How do you clean up the data? Once the data is good to use, then you apply your supervised learning, unsupervised with different CNN or other, whichever model suits you. But that is a little deeper. First, you should learn how do you segregate data. If you understand how to segregate data, then you will be able to probably take it further. And for that, you need to understand the data modeling using Python to clean up data. There are different libraries that strip off something that is not needed, make the data in a way that machine can understand it. Yeah, go ahead. More questions?
Yes, sir. We have a question. We have a question from Karthik. As you said, privacy matters more, but in India, many are not concerned about privacy. What is your opinion?
It's bad. They will learn it once they lose money. I have tens of people who approach me that somebody sent me a mail and I shared my password because they do not understand. Once they lose the money, get impacted, then they understand, right? So because of by nature, we it's like this. Can I sell my user ID password to a stranger on the road? No. So you have to be careful about that. If you get a mail or a link or somebody calls you over internet and asks you that, okay, share me your user ID password, will you do that? You should not do that. So some people are smart like us. They don't share it. But some people don't understand. They think everybody is okay. Then once they get beaten, then they will not do that.
So we have this question, but this is already answered by you. Currently, which programming language is better to get placed in top companies?
As I told you, there is no programming language that gets placed for you. Programming language for a computer engineer is a basic. It's like an English guy asking me that can I write in English? Of course, you will learn programming language. You have to learn the domain, networking, Wi-Fi, data sciences, IoT, chip design, right? Databases. That differentiate. Programming language is the bare minimum. It is like you go for an interview and you say that I don't know English. It doesn't work out. And I'm sure that your college or the teachers teach you programming languages. But they expect you to go and practice at home, write big code. Probably if you don't write a program or project which has around 6,000 to 7,000 lines of code, it doesn't impress me at all. Because after you pass a buzzer, you are an editor and you have to behave as an editor. So the problem is students think that I've always seen that no, sir, I'm not taught in college. College is to give you degree and help you understand what is needed. Now you have to practice it on your own. You're no more a kid or a baby. Now what does it mean that in the COVID time, go sit at home, practice, take a book, go to open source chat with the working groups, register for some projects, take the projects, start writing code. Then you will become competent. Yes, Balaji, I think there's more questions you can ask me.
Yes, sir, one more question. So one student asked, sir, what was your motivation when you were studying in college?
My motivation was to do some great work in life, right? So obviously, like at the age that students have, they can change the world. That's what I keep telling you. Don't get depressed. You think you are the best, and you will be the best in the world. But that requires a lot of commitment and a lot of work, a lot of motivation from inside, irrespective of what happens. I showed you what all happens in 60 seconds in the world, right? Think these many things are already happening. So if you don't, I'm telling the student, if the students don't get motivated and do these things themselves, then they are to be blamed, not anybody else. In the era of internet, nobody is alone. Everybody knows what is going on. You can just Google it, sit down and then take a browser and do the search engine and get the details, right? See, yeah, go ahead.
Which machine learning algorithm will be suitable for COVID-19 analysis and prediction on your point of view?
Again, as I told you, 2-3 things. There are already, if you go to a site called Worldometer, WRLDO, amazing site to analyze data sets for COVID, right? So you can take that and then use it. Obviously, you will not get that much of a data set, but if you have a city level data set with 30,000 distribution, first see that it is unbiased. It has a normal distribution or not. Once you have a normal distribution, understanding that what you want, what dimension of data you want to see the growth of COVID, you want to understand the trend of COVID is getting cured. These are two different problems to solve. And then you set up that, okay, these are the KPIs on which I will analyze the data. Analyze the data means I will start acting on data and then that, okay, probably in last 6 months, 100 people got impacted, out of which 60 people got cured. Then you put this data in a framework called TensorFlow at Google, which is free. It will help you to choose a good algorithm. You cannot choose the algorithm. So data tells you what is the right algorithm and right treatment for that. So it will be CNN, mostly if I understand correctly, but depends upon what you want to analyze and how you want to analyze the data. So in our case, we use machine data for the projects that we do internally. In our case, there is a deep learning that is very important because machines become very complex. I deal with a network which has 7 layers inside, not OSI layers, 7 different types like router, then switch, then the DSL switch, so on and so forth. It becomes very complex. So I have to go to deep learning where each layer I have to understand what data to discard and what data to pick up. So there are 7 layers of filters in my data, which I use it, and then come to a predictive model.
Okay, sir. I think there was more questions posted. So probably we'll end up our session.
Sure. So as a passing remark, my thought to you, don't feel you are alone. Don't think nothing is going to happen, I will not get a job. In the era of internet, nobody is alone. Everybody is working. I am working, you are working, everybody is working. The idea is to take the projects that you want to do and do it now. That will make you more capable because industry is not going to stop. They're going to recruit a lot of people. And only when they don't find skill in India, they will go to Poland or somewhere and recruit. So it's a good time, work hard, keep yourself motivated and keep yourself safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your wonderful and grateful session. I think it will be very much informative for the students so that they feel motivated. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.